Now this is not a MadLibs game just yet, because in the MadLibs game, you want the user to interact with the game. You want the user to enter the name, the age, the city, or the school, or whatever you want them to enter in. Right now, as a programmer, you have power to enter in that data for them. Now in this next part of this tutorial, you are going to be creating extra fields. And these fields are areas where the user can enter in some data, so that your program can store the data into these variables and then output them to the display label. So we're going to take this one step by step right here. The first step is we are going to create another node. It's going to be a child node to the MadLibs scene. So click on the MadLibs scene, and we are going to press plus and find a node called line edit. Select line edit and press create. And I'm going to call this name entry. Okay. Now what we see here is we see this dark grayish field here, which we can enlarge just like the display label. And in the text field area, we're going to type in some instructions so we know what the user is going to be doing. We're going to call this, we're going to ask the user to enter in their name. Enter in, not their name, but enter in your name. Alright, we're going to keep it there, right? Just to keep it simple. Okay, and so what we're going to have the user do is enter in their name so that when the display label shows up, their name will appear here. Okay, so but in order to do that, we need something to store that data. We need something to output that data. It will not do automatically. Okay, so we will be using something called a button. And we're gonna go to the node, the root node, the MadLibs scene node. Right click and let's make another child node, and let's call this button. Let's find the button node. There's many different types of buttons right now, but just click a general button. And we will call this the MadLibs button. MadLibs button. Okay, like what I said, the MadLibs button is going to do two things: store some data that you enter into this field, and then output the data into the text field. So we're going to modify the script a little bit. In addition, it just created a button on the top. So if you zoom in, it looks just like a name entry or a line edit field, but it's not. It's a button, slightly different color, and we will name this the MadLibs button right there. So it will type itself right there. All right, so this is something that you will press so that it appears in the text field. All right, now let's look at the MadLibs button. In order for the MadLibs button to work, it must send a signal to the MadLibs scene script. So to do that, we are going to click on node, and we're going to click on it so that the event that we'll be using is called press. So when we press on the button, on MadLibs button press, we will connect this signal to the MadLibs scene, because that's where we're going to be programming. So let's connect. And now what we see here is a couple things. We see a kind of like a wireless signal. Basically, this MadLibs button is sending a signal to a receiver in the MadLibs scene script, and this is the receiver right there. So we have a new function called function on MadLibs press. Do not change anything and do not delete this, because you'll need this function in order for the button to work. We're going to modify this code a tad bit. So right here, I'm going to delete this comments right here. And we are first going to be storing some data. So let's store the user input. So when the user inputs data, it's going to input data into my name. So my name, the my name variable, it's not going to be Katie anymore, but it's going to be receiving whatever text is in the name entry field. But how do we access that data? Recall we use the $, and now we will select name entry, or you could type it up, name entry. Okay, but now what property of the name entry are we going to be using so that we attain the writing that we, or the information that we inputted? So let's go to name entry, let's go to inspector, and there's an area called text. And very similar to the display label, we're gonna, this is gonna be what it's gonna be storing into the memories, whatever text is in there. All right, so let's go back to the script. Oops, I don't want a new script. Let's go back to the script right here. Dot text. Okay, so it's storing the name that you placed, and now we're going to be outputting the variable to the display label. Okay, so the good thing about script is we can move things around. So I'm going to copy this whole thing because we did a lot of work here, and we're going to copy that or cut that and place that one down here. And paste that one right there. Okay, because this is what we're going to be doing. We store it, then we output it. Okay, so for now, I am just going to make a new line right there. I'm going to place that back later on, but I'm going to make that a comment for now. Oops. Let's close that right here. There you go. And let us make this a comment so that it's not being affected anymore for now. We'll put that back later because we just want to see if my name will work. Okay, so let's see what happens. I am going to press placing. There is an error. Why is an error? The error is because there's nothing in here anymore. So I am going to delete this whole thing because we're not using this anymore. Okay, this program will only work if we press the button, not when it starts off. There you go. Okay, I'm going to enter my name, Aringo, and when I press the MadLibs button, my name is Aringo. Katie, MadLibs button, Katie. Oh, it's changing it now when you press it. Carmen, my name is Carmen. So we know the button is working. Now let's add the other variables. Let's see what we need. We're going to be using these variables, and we're going to be adding more entry fields as well. Okay, so the quickest way to do this is to right click on the line edits, or actually let's just do it from the start right here. Creating a child node, finding line edit, and I think this next line is going to be age entry. Let's create a couple more, and I'll be moving these around here. So enter your age. And I'm just shortcutting this now. I'm gonna right click on this and it'll say duplicate. I can duplicate nodes. It will duplicate the the location as well as the name. All right, so I'm gonna move this down a bit, and it keeps the size the same, so it lessens my my process. Enter city entry, and I think we have one more. Let me check the script. City and school. Right click and duplicate. Move this down. Change the text for the city. Enter your city and enter your school. And so this is school entry. Great. All right, now let's add these to the on button press part of the program. Let's go back to our script. Let's go to the area where you store the user input. We're going to add the next variable, age. Age will equal $. We're going to access the age entry line edit field and the text. Same thing with the city. Entry dot text, and the same thing with the school. School entry right there, dot text. Okay, so this, we're going to store the user input from the line edits. Now the great thing is we won't need all these starting points anymore, because here we are just declaring the variables, making sure the program knows that these variables do exist first before we use it. So we don't need all this anymore. Let's clean that all up. All right, so we got that first part. The second part is let's add in the rest of the script right here. So let's do that. Let me just modify a tad bit. You have a new line right there, good. And everything should be the same, I think. Hopefully, it looks like there's an error somewhere. Let's see where the error is at. This is line 18, space 52. So open, close, open, close. Ah, there you go, right there. Open, close. All right, I might need to do this part over. Oh, that's why. Here and there. Those are all comments, that's why. Okay, yeah, just delete all the hashtags and make sure that you got the correct area where you place all the line breaks and where you press the line breaks to go to the next line when you code it. All right, so again, double check your work until you don't receive any errors anymore. This part probably takes about a little time. Now let's test this program out. Play the scene. All right, I'm gonna enter my name, Ringo, my age, 40, the city that I go to school in, San Francisco, and enter the name of my school, Hoover Middle School. Press the MadLibs button. Let's see if it works, and voila! My name is Ringo. I am 40 years old. I am a student at Hoover Middle School in San Francisco. Let's change some names and make sure it works. Call it Ben. Age is 20. I'm gonna call this Daly City. And I'm gonna call this Ben Franklin Intermediate. Press the MadLibs button, and it also changes as well. Okay, and so we just created a mini MadLibs game right here. Now the next step is create your own variables, create your own text fields, create your own story, and create your own MadLibs story, so that when you press the MadLibs button, whatever your users have inputted will be inputted into your story, and it will be a weird sounding story.